Yeah, I want to get right to Maryland Democratic Congressman Elijah Cummings joining us this morning. Nice to see you, sir. Thank you for talking with us. Talk to me about Maryland. How are you faring, and how especially your district faring in Baltimore and outside of Baltimore post Sandy?
Well, we're doing pretty good. We were not hit as hard as a lot of other areas, and certainly our prayers go out to those residents in those states. And we're doing everything in our power to help our residents, but things are going fairly well in Baltimore and the surrounding area.
So we've just talked about the campaign heating up again, and if you look at a poll from ABC News, the Washington Post, the question was likely voters' views of the response to Hurricane Sandy. President Obama was rated excellent or good, 78%, poor or not so good, 8%. There were 15% who had no opinion. Governor Romney, excellent, good, 44%, poor, not so good, 21%, no opinion was relatively high, about 35%. The governor. Mark Preston, who's CNN's political analyst, says he thinks that the president's handling of this disaster is going to lead directly for more votes for him. Do you agree?
I think it's quite possible. The president is doing what the president does best. I mean, you heard Governor Christie say that he had talked to the president 6 times, and when he got together with him, he could feel the compassion that he felt over the phone. And that says a lot. Here we have 2 men who truly care about their country coming together, and I think that's basically what Americans want. They're tired, Soledad, of all the bickering and nothing getting done. And the fact is that they came together, and I think the president has taken the appropriate action. I was very impressed.
Let's take a look at the battleground states in the poll that comes to us from the Wall Street Journal, NBC, Marist. President Obama in Iowa, 50%, Governor Romney, 44%. In Wisconsin, President Obama at 49%, Governor Romney at 46%. In New Hampshire, President Obama at 49%, Governor Romney at 47%. So the good news is that's a lead for President Obama from a Democratic perspective. The bad news is you've been dropping. And in Iowa, that lead was 8 points. Now it's 6. In Wisconsin, that lead is now 3 points. It was 6. New Hampshire, was a 7-point lead. It's now 2. So if you actually map it, it's shrinking very dramatically. 5 days left till the election. Are you worried about that trend? You must be.
Not at all. Not at all. No, we had always anticipated that there would be a very, very close race. But I think basically what it's going to boil down to is who do we trust? And I think the polling will show that the American people trust this president. I think when you've got a situation where the president is either basically tied or leading in all of these battleground states, you've got just the odds will tell you that some of them are going to come out in his favor, if not all. But I think the president clearly, you got to keep in mind, one of the things that Governor Romney has done is basically he's decided to send some questions 2 to 3 weeks outside of the election. I mean, I've never heard of anything like that. While the president has made himself available to answer questions, to address any kind of issues that the public might be interested in. And so basically, I see Romney basically rope-a-doping while the president is out there leading and facing issues head on.
I'm not sure that's true. I think that both got a lot of criticism, and President Obama certainly, for doing certain kinds of shows and not necessarily taking a lot of questions from reporters. There was a time when reporters here were frustrated that he'd go on The View and not do interviews with reporters. So I'm going to disagree with you on that. I want to ask you a question before we go, though. That campaigning, is it too soon for that? I know that we're getting notes that the FEMA administrator, Craig Fugate, is going to be updating the president throughout the day. But, the visuals, as you've seen, are devastating. There are many people. Every day we learn more information about a new area, especially in New Jersey, that's been absolutely devastated. Is it just too soon to be out there campaigning for both men?
I think it all depends on how they do it. Certainly the president said yesterday that he is addressing this minute by minute, and I like the fact that he said that his folk had to get back to the mayors and the governors within 15 minutes. Clearly, I think he can do more than one thing at a time. Again, we're coming down towards the end of the election. I think they both have to make their cases, and I don't see anything wrong with that.
Elijah Cummings joining us this morning. Congressman, nice to see you. Thank you for your time this morning.
Good being with you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. You want to tune in Tuesday.